Welcome. My name is Sue Rose, and I'm a pre-K specialist with the ECAP program at the Department of Early Learning. This is the second webinar in a four-part series geared towards early achievers coaches supporting ECAP-funded classrooms. Our hope is that you will be able to view this webinar series prior to attending an Early Achievers Coach Framework training through the University of Washington's Child Care, Quality, and Early Learning, or CEQUAL program. If you have already participated in an Early Achievers Coach Framework training, then you will still be able to benefit from this overview in Early Achievers. Please note, if you have attended the Hybrid Project webinar or the Early Achievers Orientation as an ECAP director, this webinar recording will most likely be a review and is optional. This webinar will cover the Early Achievers pathways and timelines. Part 1 of this series will be a broad overview of ECAP. All coaches are welcome to attend that training. However, if you have a deep understanding of ECAP or have attended the new ECAP Director Orientation webinars, Part 1 of this series is also optional for you. The third webinar in this series will cover the coach roles and available resources. That webinar is required for all coaches. The fourth webinar in this series will cover the WELS system, which is also the web-based early learning system, and it will go over data entry requirements. That webinar is required for all coaches. Let's get started. I'm going to give you a broad overview of Early Achievers, share with you about the Head Start and ECAP pathway, the License pathway, the Hybrid Project, and then the Early Achievers timelines. Early Achievers is the name of Washington State's Quality Rating and Improvement System. A Quality Rating and Improvement System, or QRIS, is a framework for increasing observable quality in early learning settings. Washington State's QRIS serves three primary purposes. 1, to increase the quality of early care and education provided to children and their families. 2, to provide parents with information about quality through an easy-to-understand rating system. And 3, to provide resources and supports to early learning professionals enrolled in Early Achievers. Early Achievers helps identify programs that offer nurturing and supportive interactions, have safe and well-organized environments, individualized care for children, provide family engagement, and embrace diversity. Partners in Quality. There are 3 organizations in Washington State responsible for implementation of Early Achievers statewide. The Department of Early Learning, off to the left, is the lead administrative agency and is responsible for ensuring that all elements of Early Achievers are implemented with fidelity. CEL must report on system progress as part of the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge expectations. DEL is also responsible for facility licensing and maintaining merit, and the QRIS data system, WELS. Child Care Aware of Washington is the lead agency for coordinating improvement activities, including coaching, technical assistance, professional development, and training in licensed pathway sites. Regions have regional coordinators who oversee implementation across that region, and regional Child Care Aware of Washington agencies that work directly with participating facilities. The University of Washington is our evaluation partner and is responsible for the rating part of QRIS. The University of Washington rates sites, develops the coach framework, and provides training and resources around the coach framework and rating readiness. The State Board of Community and Technical Colleges provides opportunity grants to low-income adults training for a career in early childhood education, and have also created stackable certificates as a way to help support early learning professionals in meeting their career goals. Thrive Washington helps fund and support the 10 regional early learning coalitions and partners with the Department of Early Learning to build an early learning system that helps ensure all children get a great start in school and in life. One goal in Early Achievers is to promote an integrated early learning system. There are many settings that provide care to children ages birth to 5, and we also know that children move between these settings during that time. So by creating a seamless, comprehensive system of quality, Early Achievers can help ensure that children are receiving high-quality care regardless of setting or funding source. Washington's quality standards. Washington had the benefit of testing our system prior to implementing it. Based on participant feedback, we moved from a building block approach where all standards in a given level need to be met prior to moving to the next level to more of a hybrid model. In this model, some elements of the system are mandatory, while others are more flexible and based on points. In Early Achievers, levels 1 and 2 are mandatory, and levels 3 to 5 are based on the achievement of points. These points are gained through an on-site evaluation with the data collectors from the University of Washington. The model supports facilities to build a strong foundation at levels 1 and 2, then gain points by meeting standards that are in line with the program philosophy at levels 3 to 5. The model supports continuous quality improvement at all levels. The points to the left are the points awarded to the Early Achievers Quality Standard area. The quality rating standards break down how points are awarded in Early Achievers. For child outcomes, there's 10 points available. Classroom environment has 55 points. These 55 points come from the class and the environment rating scale scores. Curriculum and staff supports is worth 15 points. Professional development and training, 10 points. And family engagement and partnership, 10 points. I'll show more about the Early Achievers pathway in a few moments. You can find more detailed information about the quality standards and the point breakdown on the Department of Early Learning website. On the DEL's website, you will find the Early Achievers companion to the quality standards. In here, it will break down and give more information about those child outcome points, which is worth up to 10 points. Here you'll see that developmental screening being conducted within 90 days of enrollment and the results being shared with parents is worth of 1 point. And you can read on about how the different points are given in this area. Early Achievers uses 2 assessment tools, the CLASS, also known as the Classroom Assessment Scoring System, and the ERS, or the Environment Rating Scale. So let's break down the CLASS and the ERS, since coaches working with sites on the Head Start ECAP pathway will be mostly focused here prior to rating. It's important to keep in mind that the CLASS makes up 40% of quality standards. So the tool is most commonly associated with positive child outcomes. Another important note is that Early Achievers is a site-based system. The University of Washington will visit each classroom within that site. They will randomly choose which classroom to conduct each tool. Typically, classrooms will receive only the ERS or the class tool, not both, unless there's only one classroom at the site. The minimum threshold must be met on both tools, otherwise the site will be rated at a level 2. So this is very important to focus on these tools. Also a note, the ECAP contract requires that all ECAP programs participate in the Early Achievers Quality Rating and Improvement System. The contractor must incorporate the use of the class tool and the ERS assessment to improve curriculum, learning environments, and interactions. The contract also states that the contractor must provide resources to support achievement of goals and implementation of quality improvement plans. Meeting these requirements in the contract prepares sites for the formal data collection that happens with the University of Washington. Class, instructional support, engaged support for learning. This domain looks at discussion and activities in the classroom that encourages the development of children's reasoning and logic skills. It looks at frequent conversations with open-ended questions and advanced language, the use of children's past knowledge and understanding to build upon and increase learning, and active and engaged children. The minimum threshold is considered a 2, and it's important that this is an average of the assessed classroom scores. The higher your class score, the higher number of early achievers points gained. Class, emotional support and classroom organization, emotional and behavioral support domain looks at warm and respectful relationships, responsive providers, awareness of children's needs, proactive behavior management, organized routines that maximize learning time and children's involvement. For this domain, 3.5 is considered the minimum threshold or base score that all facilities must meet in order to be considered at a level 4 or 5. ERS measures classroom quality of the environment, including how the available materials, activities, routines, schedules, and interactions support learning. ERS is scored on a 1 to 7 continuum, with 7 considered excellent and 1 considered inadequate. So site level score determines points awarded for this component. A 3.0 is the minimum threshold. Please keep in mind that this is an average of all classrooms at the site, serving children birth to 5, not just your ECAP or Head Start classrooms. Early Achievers Pathways and the Hybrid Project. In 2012, the Head Start ECAP Reciprocity Pilot Project was started. The Department of Early Learning had data collection conducted on Head Start and ECAP sites from 9 participating grantees and contractors. Based on the information gathered in this pilot, the Department of Early Learning determined that an additional pathway was needed to be created beyond the licensed pathway in Early Achievers. The pilot determined that sites with a 75% or more Head Start ECAP slots actually met the Early Achievers Quality Standard areas fully in the areas listed in the orange square on your screen. And this was true because they met the Head Start or ECAP performance standards, which aligned with the Early Achievers Quality Standard areas. As a result, 45 reciprocity points in Early Achievers are automatically awarded to sites with 75% or more Head Start or ECAP slots. And these sites are now considered part of the Head Start ECAP pathway. It's important to know that Early Achievers is a site-based system versus a program-based system. So an early achievers coach may very well work with a site that is on the Head Start ECAP pathway and another site that's participating in the hybrid project, or even partnering with a site that's on the license pathway. The Early Achievers Head Start ECAP pathway. This is for sites with Head Start and ECAP slots at 75% or more of their makeup at that site. These sites can be licensed or license exempt, operating less than 4 hours a day. And as long as they have 75% or more Head Start or ECAP slots at that site, the coach will focus on the class and the ERS only. The University of Washington will only come out and conduct those two assessment tools. So the coach responsibilities are rating readiness support on the ERS and class, and then ongoing coaching after the rating comes back. So when you get information back from the University of Washington, you can work to see where areas of improvement are available and create quality improvement plans with the teaching teams at that site. Early Achievers License Pathway. Sites on this pathway are licensed or tribally certified and have less than 75% Head Start and or ECAP slots at that site. Sites on this pathway receive full data collection from the University of Washington. These sites create a file of supporting materials to earn Early Achievers points in the quality standard areas. And they have the ERS and class tools conducted as well. Coach responsibilities. Coaches for the licensed certified pathway are through the Child Care Aware organization, and they provide rating readiness, support the site on creating their file of supporting material, the ERS, and the class. These coaches have ongoing support and communication with the ECAP contractor as well, so that everyone is on the same page about the support this site is being given. The hybrid project. Sites that currently do not meet the eligibility criteria for either of the Early Achievers pathways are moving through the Early Achievers hybrid project. The majority of these sites are located in school districts, and the classrooms are often blended with special education funding. These sites are not certified and not required to have a child care license, and they do not have 75% or more of their slots designated as Head Start or ECAP. These sites are given 10 points in Early Achievers for professional development and training, and they'll go through the rest of the data collection process similar to the license pathway. Their coaches receive support through the Department of Early Learning and our webinars in partnership with Child Care Aware and the University of Washington. We work to support these sites and their coaches in creating that file of supporting materials and really making sure that they have as much support as possible to help these sites be successful. So coaches that support hybrid sites participate in our webinars, and our webinars also address how to create a file of supporting materials and helpful hints on scoring well on the ERS and class. These coaches will also continue with ongoing coaching once the rating comes back. The Early Achievers rating process. At the top in green, it says Rating Readiness Coaching. And this is what you're doing with sites right now, preparing them prior to the University of Washington coming out. As we head to the right, you request in merit for the University of Washington to come out by doing your on-site evaluation application. Once that's approved, the community liaison is actually the first contact with sites. And their purpose is not to evaluate your site, but to make sure that sites are ready to go and have the information available for the data collectors. Their job is to make the data collector's visit as unobtrusive as possible. They want to know more about the site's logistics, answer your questions, and really check on those blockout dates that were entered into Merit. They want to make sure that when they schedule the data collectors to come out, that it's not a day that you're actually out on a field trip. Data collection, if we follow around the circle here, data collectors come out, and for sites that are on the Head Start ECAP pathway, they will come out and visit a classroom and do the ERS or the class. And if a classroom is getting the ERS conducted, please know that the teacher will also need to have 15 to 30 minutes available for an interview after that tool is conducted. So when data collectors come out and they're leaving your site, they actually don't have your early achievers rating yet. They have to take all of that information that they gathered back to their data analysis team and their coding team. And then, after all of the information is reviewed, your rating will be finalized. Once you get your rating information back, it'll give you some information on the ERS and the class and areas that you can work to build a plan with your teachers on continuous quality improvement. And you just continue supporting and coaching these sites. Early Achievers ratings are good for 3 years. Early Achievers timelines, existing sites. Existing sites need to enroll in Early Achievers by October 1st, 2015. And they need to rate a level 4 or 5 in Early Achievers by March 1st, 2016, which is why we created the ECAP cohort with the University of Washington. Many sites are already in the queue, ready to go through the data collection process. Early Achievers timelines for new ECAP sites, and these are sites that are license exempt. They need to enroll in Early Achievers within 30 days of the start date of the ECAP contract. These new ECAP sites have 12 months to rate a level 4 or 5 in Early Achievers. Early Achievers for new licensed certified child care centers and homes need to enroll in Early Achievers within 30 days of the start date of the ECAP contract, and then rate a level 4 or 5 within 18 months of the start of the ECAP contract. As I was stating before, we have a new ECAP rating cohort with the University of Washington, and this rating cohort is only for our existing ECAP sites. Existing means that you offered ECAP services at that physical location in 2014 and 15, so last year. If you did, then you're considered an existing ECAP site. If you did not offer ECAP at this physical location, then you're considered new this year. So existing ECAP sites that have not been already rated at a level 4 or 5 need to have an approved Early Achievers request for on-site evaluation by October 15, 2015. So the new data collection window is November 16th through February 29th. This means that your rating will be finalized by April 15th, 2016. By being in this rating cohort for ECAP, it means that you will have met the requirements of the Early Start Act. This completes this webinar. If you have any questions, you can contact the pre-K specialist that works with your program. You can contact ECAP at the email address listed on your page here, or you can contact myself, Sue Rose, at the email listed here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.